getting that rusty seat off, which I did off camera on the farmall C. Good morning. It's Bill's never-ending projects. Since we got it running, now I can turn my efforts to getting the seat so I don't fall off. And found out that I knew nothing about what was going on with the base of the seat, because inside the seat was at least 4 inches of rust. Partially it was the bottom of the toolbox, and the rest was all kinds of metal they left in there. I used a fireplace shovel to clean it out, because the fireplace shovel fit in this hole. And so you'd have to say there's about 1.5 inches rusted off the bottom easy, all the way around, except for this end where you reach in. And everything come out hard. I mean, even this light bulb. Think that was easy? No. I heated it. There's a bunch of spots I had to heat. I just used this propane torch, this little bottle torch. And it says map gas. But it does have this long hose on it, which makes it so you can, feels like you're using a real torch. Sometimes you're heating something. I got a striker, and I'll show you the things that I had to heat. While I'm out here, this seat's got some bad bushings. I mean, you could say worse than bad. When you're sitting on it, you go like this. Left, right. Left, right, left, right. The shock absorber one isn't that sloppy, but it's not tight. But that one there, that one has to get fixed. But this used one I picked up, I don't know what he charged me. Hopefully I didn't pay over $50, but I don't remember anymore. I've been collecting parts up for 8 years, so, but I got one with no rust, so I drilled out my serial number plate. Well, there's my serial number, 14865. First year of farmall C. And there's the holes. I don't have any aluminum solid rivets like they do. They're not pop rivets, so I'll have to wait to put this on. At least I got it drilled off the old one. Alright. Well, I don't got a flashlight over here, but for some reason it always makes it look like it's lit up. Let me get my flashlight so I can see it. Okay, so here's some of the pieces. There's some of the pieces that were at the bottom of the seat that I wanted to show you. What I did is I used my chisel gun and I made the hole get stretched. And I didn't know what was going on. I did not know that there were nuts on here. Those darn things are fine thread. And they were actually getting rusted off the top. Part of the bolt. This one's the only one that looks like it should. And that one doesn't seem to have threads up near the top. And this one, I thought I thought there were bolt heads that went down the same as these do. So I thought it was the bolt heads that there were hardly anything left, and I thought I was going to heat. That's why I removed all these little pieces. That's why I removed all these little pieces that were going around it, because I thought then I could get the heat straight at the platform. And heat it for a while. Then I was going to quench it with water and do that a couple times. Then I was going to use a vice grip and tie to get the stud out. But the studs, bolt. Now I find out they're studs. So that's that story. And this piece that went around here, right here, this, I guess they made the platform just come up a little there. Probably to shed water. Well, of course, that didn't work. It's not up high enough. And I'm going to show you what's left to a nut. You're not going to believe it. This is where I couldn't identify that these were nuts. This is all that's left to them. It's so light. There's hardly no steel left to it. And that's the nut. They're just totally rusted off. This is the only one that even makes it all the way around. This is the only one that even makes it all the way around, and there's hardly nothing left to it. But this is the one I'm going to try to use for size at the hardware store. I'm going to buy 3 nuts, or 4 nuts, I guess. And I'm going to buy, when I find out what size this is, then I'm going to buy not a tap, I guess they're called a die to go around. But they're so flat down, I don't know if I can do anything. So if I have to, I guess I might have to try to get the studs out. Maybe I'll end up having to weld the nut on and snap them off. Then maybe I'll have to drill them out. And, it's good. Who thought fixing a seat would be this hard? All right, well, gotta go to the hardware store. These were the 4 that I had to heat up. There's some kind of shoulder bolt. It's got different dimension there. To there, and then it gets skinnier. These are fine thread, and these are what holds the seat on. Seems to be this skinny little flat, like a fender washer, then a regular flat and a lock. And the thickness of the seat where it goes through there is about this thick. And that's thick enough, and there's no slack around it, so that's where they all froze up. And probably the nuts had to be heated to get loose too. So it did a lot of heating on that, but that little propane torch came through. So back from the store, it turned out to be these little pieces of hardly nothing. Actually, we're supposed to be 1/2 inch by 20. 1/2 by 20. So that's a 1/2 by 20 tap. I was lucky to get it. I almost would have had to drive 2 hours to get it, but so these little scrap things were what was left to the nut. It isn't even an eighth of one. So it's no wonder I didn't know what was going on and messed up some of those threads. So now I got to go try to straighten them with this tap. So here I go. Okay, I cleaned it up with the wire brush, and I measured the steel that it's got to go through. It's only got to go through a 1/16 inch, It's the top of the seat where it adjusts, where it's doubled up. And I got my half-inch tab here. It's an inch socket. I might throw some paint down. I think before I put the seat down, I'll put some Never Sees, the gray stuff. I don't know how this thing got that rotten. This was no cherry tractor. And then to be that rotten and for that seat, this thing must have stayed outside all the time. Okay, well, I'm going to go to that. I'm going to try to save these studs because I wouldn't want to try to pull them out. Okay, off to work. Okay, I'm going to try to get in there and tap some. I think I'll go in behind the cultivator. Take a few seconds to get back in there. Well, I hope I can save these so I can get the seat bolted down. I'm going to stand in the drawbar, I guess. Maybe I can sit on the back of the cultivator. That's kind of uncomfortable, but okay. Okay, the tap's never going to go on some of these. They're so flattened out. I didn't really pound on them, and I know. So this is going to be the easy one. It's the only good one. Unless we're just chasing the threads normal. It's flush. Well, we can hold the seat down with one bolt, one nut, one stud and one nut. Should have brought the nuts back here so I could try them, but if the tap went on, the die went on, I guess that means the nuts surely will. I just don't want to cross them. Bad thing is I can't really see them when they're going down. The socket covers it up. I guess I'll try that. What do I got to lose? Maybe I'll try an extension. I'm definitely cutting threads, but I hope I'm not cross-threaded. Okay, I'm all the way down to the pin. I think I caught that PTO handle with my fingers. That didn't feel good. I gotta climb down off this drum and get my head down there and see what those turned out like. I definitely gotta go get a nut to see if they're gonna go on. I sure hope they do. This has turned into a big project. I know it's good. No use even. So, 2 to go. It looks like I can try to put a seat in. The only thing that could happen is I could lose the tap. But here it is. Or I gotta grind one of these on top to make it start. I mean, die. I keep calling it a tap. Boy, I should have took the back elevator off too. But didn't get in the way till now. No, it's not starting on these front two. Might have got this one. Doesn't look that crooked. It doesn't look crooked at all. It doesn't look that crooked. I'll go every last little bit. I like when I could take it off with the electric one. Where that fell. I'm sure it's where I can't reach it. There it is. Yeah, that's where I can't reach it. Okay. One left. I got an impact down on the floor and one of my new nuts. Yeah, that went. Now I gotta get down there and see just how, if this thing is large or what. No, I guess it's just being stubborn. I guess it possibly could be going. Where's my cutting oil? Seems like this one could have used cutting oil. The rest were chasing fairly easy. Still looks like it's tricky. Even though I chased it, this one seems like it should have been ground off, tapered. Oh, but I got it, so it's possible. I'll be reaching in through the toolbox hole, and I guess they must have just had some flats and lock nuts on it, but the nut here, as you can see, is it'll be flush if I just put a flat washer. So time to go get the seat. Pick up the nut I dropped. Alright. Find my loose hole on it. I'll just leave that on the floor this time so it don't fall. Okay, in comes this. Sounds like a funny thing to do, but put it on the bolts too, or the studs. Don't have to be heavy or nothing. It's just ridiculous how bad this thing rusted. They definitely didn't build a waterproof thing to last. Of course, I'm 68, and this is a 48. See, I was born in 54, so 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 6 years difference. Me and this tractor. The tractor's older, so 6 years difference. I'm 68, so it's 74 years old. So then must be, that's not that bad off. Okay. Now I just got enough sticking out so I can get my feet on it, I guess, when I'm driving. I ought to put this stuff down and spur of the moment decision. I figured if it works on studs, on wheel studs, on trucks and stuff, tractors, why not put it under there where everything was going to heck? The only problem, the toolbox is hollow in the middle. If one of these is bent, it's not going to fit. So I got to wipe it back out in the middle. Look at that. It's already down. Okay, so you see what my project was there. Get rid of that horrible seat base so that this is a good thing to work on, and then later I can get those bushings in that seat. I think so. I want to use it today, later tonight, or tomorrow morning. So I'm just going to put this terrible seat bushings back on, but the bolts are all cleaned up, and I'm going to put never sees on them. So I'm not going to shoot too much footage today. That was all on the tractor motor and stuff, but this is a little bit of the after stuff. And when I put the cultivator back on, I don't think I'm going to shoot it. I shot it taking it off. Okay, there's the bolt I put through. The bushing was definitely shot. I'll show it to you. So it's a fine thread bolt. It's probably not much more than an inch long in it. You can see this is why I was able to get this side out. You never get these out. That's just the way it is. This side I cut off with the Sawzall. but there were no rubber bushings in it. So I called International, the one near me in Wisconsin, where I live here, and I found out how International does it. Not like I ordered one on the internet after I got through talking to them. It was one push of a button, but it's not going to come till next week. And if I wanted to go, they don't stock them all in one thing. They make you buy this thing that has the threads in each end. These bolts I probably had to get at a hardware store, find thread. Then the bushing that goes on each side, the tapered one that is where you get the little rubber movement from, that's another separate part. So you got the center thing, the two bushings, and the bolts. That's three parts. He says you can go to this one that's about 45, maybe an hour from here to get this part. Then you can go, it's about another 45 minutes further east to get the bushings. Then he said you could probably get these fine thread bolts at a hardware store. I said, I'm not doing all that. So I said, thank you, and hung up. Then I made what I got here. I'll tell you how I did it. Before the seat had slop, here's me wiggling it. Pretty much, it's only wiggling on the bottom where I put some flat washers. I thought maybe the flat washers on the seat part here, I thought maybe before I found out there was a rod behind there that you pull out to slide the seat, I thought maybe then I'd put these flat washers in here because then it would ride better when it slides forward and back. So now it rocks on those flat washers a little bit. So probably they didn't go there, or maybe they do go there. I don't know. I don't have a parts book, but it slides real nice now. And I found out there's a pin here, behind here. There's a pin you got to pull up, then you slide it. I was beating on it with almost like a sledgehammer, saying, why won't this thing slide? There's a pin in it. So when I was bolting that down, obviously that pin was in one of the holes. Kind of like when you move your seat in the car, you pull that lever and it goes click, 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 and you let go of the lever. So anyway, the whole base is down. I adjusted it to where I wanted to. The weird part here is when you set the seat back like I did, look, you can put your finger in the slot so water would go right in there. That must be why these things rust out so bad. Of course, I could silicone those. I could silicone all the way up and down here too. But so then, this is how I got rid of the slack, because I got no bushing, I got no bolt, I got no two-piece. I don't got any three-piece thing anymore. So how did I do it? I had this part here up out of there, because obviously there's no bolt in it. I set it down halfway on top of this curve here, so that the hole in the center was about like so, or like so. I found one thing to fit in there was the outside of a 3/4 pipe. So I cut it off about as much as the threads would be. And then I beat that in each side. I cut two of them with the chop saw. Then, obviously, the center of a 3/4 pipe is still way bigger than a 1/2-inch bolt. So then I took a 1/2-inch pipe, and I did the same thing. Only before I cut my inch off on each side to beat in there, I had to grind some off. I had to grind the threads down almost to where you could still see the threads. I didn't have to take that much off. I just kept grinding it off and trying the 3/4 pipe to see if it would fit over it. And when it did, I quit grinding. I did one on each end that way. Then I cut those pieces of pipe off with the chop saw, and I pounded them inside there when I had this thing sitting up on here. So then I got one pipe inside of another on each side, just an inch long. Then I put this part in here, and I see there was still a little slack in there, so I beat one of these half-inch flat washers on the inside. That made it almost so it don't wiggle at all. I mean, before it was wiggling so bad, it would go way over to here and then way over to there. It was like, oh my God, I said I can't even cultivate that way. Not even a little plot in the garden for just 10 minutes. This is my temporary job till my real bushings come in. Maybe I'll leave it like that. But I guess you want a little give to it, otherwise they wouldn't have invented it that way. You must want a little give to it. But there's my little give. It's down here on the slide. So, those shoulder bolts. And I found out when you put never sees across the whole bottom, the inside of the toolbox isn't solid across. It's got a strip in the middle, so it didn't cover up the never sees. So I tried to wipe it out of it, so any tools I put in there now will be silver. I think never sees is really just undercoating. It looks like gray undercoating. But now, monkeying with seat all day after I greased it and oiled the fan, all day on this seat. Unbelievable. I had no idea how a seat on a C works. Where that pin's back there. I'll show you the pin. There it is. It's like a little hitch pin. It's supposed to have a spring on it, but the spring was so rusty it just turned into shambles when I pulled it up, lifted it up. But I'm sure glad I seen that. The whole time I looked at these seats, I did look at that and I wondered what it was. But at least now I can feel. I don't got that great a hip, and I can't have it wobbling all right and then left and feel like you're tipping over on a 45 degree. And I thought this was going to be all wobbled out. This piece right here, this gusset, I thought it'd be all wobbled out. It was absolutely tight on the half-inch bolt on both sides. It wasn't, all that slop was just from that rubber being gone. It wasn't in there at all. There was no tapered piece of rubber on either side. It was completely gone. Disintegrated, I guess. All right. My beater tractor is one step closer to not being a beater. I mean, I need a shift knob. All right, well, I got to get this cultivator on, but it's getting late again. I probably won't put it on until in the morning. This is Bill's Never Ending Project signing off.